All right, I am here with Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. And Alexander, we have some developments coming out of the Russiagate Trump Tower meeting, developments that do not look good for Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell, who were very persistent in claiming that Don Jr. had called his father after the infamous Trump Tower meeting, that 15-minute meeting where supposedly the entire conspiracy to take away the election from Hillary Clinton went down. That's the ridiculous notion, of course, that it all happened at the Trump Tower. Get into what's going on here with this latest, I would say, very, very big setback for the people that actually believe Trump colluded with Russia.
I think it's a huge setback, Alex, and let's just go over it and understand why. Now, first of all, what are we talking about? We're talking about a meeting that took place in Trump Tower in June 2016 between Donald Trump Jr., that's President, as he is now, President Trump's son, and this Russian lawyer, Natalia Veselnitskaya. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about this meeting, and one of the things that people have basically tried to say is that Veselnitskaya was trying to pass information on, or was offering information to Donald Trump Jr. at the instigation of the Russian government, and that this meeting is evidence or even proof of collusion, of this, collusion that took place supposedly between the Trump campaign and the Russians. Now, right from the word go, I looked into all of that. I realized this was simply not true. There was no discussion of anything related to the election in that meeting. Veselnitskaya, the lawyer, managed to trick her way into seeing Donald Trump Jr. by claiming that she had dirt on Hillary Clinton, which she didn't. In fact, she came to see Donald Trump Jr. in order to lobby on behalf of a Russian company called Prevezon, for which she was acting as lawyer in a court case that is related to the Magnitsky scandal, which I am not going to talk about on this program because it is not relevant to our discussion. When Donald Trump Jr. understood that, he showed her the door. Mueller has accepted that nothing in itself was wrong about that meeting. What people have been trying to say, what people like Adam Schiff have been trying to say, is that Donald Trump Jr. telephoned his father, Donald Trump, to discuss that meeting in advance, because that meeting supposedly was part of this great conspiracy. The Donald Trump, who has said that he knew nothing about the meeting until after it was reported about, the Donald Trump is lying about that. And they have also tried, that's to say Adam Schiff and co., to allege that Donald Trump's actions, his denial of knowledge about that meeting, somehow amounts to an obstruction of justice. So that's what the whole theory that Adam Schiff has been floating is. It relates to a kind of obstruction of justice allegation. So Donald Trump himself knows about the meeting. He lies about the meeting. He knows about that the meeting is going to be investigated by Mueller. He tries to distance himself from it by lying about it. The meeting is itself suspicious, and that is an obstruction of justice. Already that looked pretty thin to me, but now we know that this story that Adam Schiff has been circulating is completely not true, because we now know who it was that Donald Trump Jr. spoke to on the phone before that meeting. And surprise, surprise, it was not his father. It was two business associates, completely unrelated to anything to do with Donald Trump the campaign, the meeting with Veselnitskaya. So far as we can tell, it had nothing to do with it, and it certainly doesn't show that Donald Trump himself said any lies about this meeting at all.
Once again, it shows that Donald Trump had nothing to do with anything even remotely close to a Russian collusion or a Russian obstruction or anything in that matter whatsoever. Once again, we see Adam Schiff being proven wrong. I don't think the guy has said anything when it comes to this entire Mueller investigation that has panned out to be even 1/100th correct. Yet he's in charge of the Intelligence Committee.
You're absolutely right, Alex. Can I just give examples of some of the stories that Adam Schiff has himself spread? Firstly, in the first meeting of the House Intelligence Committee, which he attended, he was waving the Trump dossier. This is this bizarre dossier that Christopher Steele had produced, and he was basically basing his questions on that dossier, made it absolutely clear to everybody that he thought that dossier was true. And in fact, he continues to claim that that dossier is true, or at least has not been proved to be untrue, which is a bizarre formulation when you think about it. Actually, that's not true either, but let's leave it. So he's still been he was peddling the Trump dossier before. He's still peddling it now. He also claimed, and by the way, after one of our programs a little while ago, I checked this, but he also claimed in one of those early hearings that Roger Stone was somehow the person who was passing emails that had been hacked to WikiLeaks. Well, we now know from the indictment that is completely not true, and that Roger Stone had no role in any of that. I mean, the idea that he ever did is ridiculous. He also claimed in a long memo that he wrote in response to the Republican memo of a year ago that the Trump dossier was not used to any significant degree in getting the FISA warrants on Carter Page. Well, we know that isn't true either. I mean, we know that, in fact, it was the foundation of the evidence that was used to get those FISA warrants. So Adam Schiff has been repeatedly proved wrong. In fact, I'm going to say something about Adam Schiff. I think, personally, that he is the person who is behind many of these stories we read in the media, which I am sure are being pushed by his own staffers from his own office. He has set himself up as the Grand Inquisitor in the House of Representatives on all things related to Russiagate. Now, it is falling apart. And now we see that this latest conspiracy theory that he constructed around the Trump Tower meeting, in which he tried to connect Donald Trump himself into that meeting, that too has now been proved wrong and has bitten the dust. Now, can I just say something else about that, which is, I think, important to hold on to? Adam Schiff is a lawyer. He has a legal background. I believe that he was a prosecutor himself. You do not make allegations that there was some kind of conversation between Donald Trump Jr. and Donald Trump without proof. He never had any proof that those two had spoken to each other. All he knew is that Donald Trump Jr., from his telephone records, which Donald Trump Jr. himself released, had certain conversations. He had no basis to think that those conversations were with Donald Trump. He had no basis to think that those conversations had any connection to the Veselnitskaya meeting. He was only guessing, and yet he spread stories based on those guesses, which have fanned this Russiagate investigation. And we now know that those guesses were wrong.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that he's one of the big leakers in this entire Mueller investigation, this Russiagate investigation. I also tend to think that Adam Schiff was a nobody before Russiagate. No one had ever heard about this guy. I mean, he was a nothing. They put him in this position to promote this entire Russiagate thing, to spread the lies, to spread the leaks, and he went along with it. And for that, he got promoted to where he is now, in charge of the Intelligence Committee. He was a nothing before Russiagate. He owes his entire career to spreading false allegations against the U.S. president. Is he going to apologize to the American people for all the lies that he has spread, for all the discourse that he has spread, for all the nonsense that he has spread? Is he going to apologize? He is such a tool. Will he apologize?
Of course not. I mean, Adam Schiff is never going to apologise. You're absolutely right. I'd never heard of Adam Schiff until all this started. He's done very well out of this affair in career terms. He's done very well out of this affair by spreading gossip, rumour, innuendo, conspiracy theories. He's been the spinmeister in chief. And as I said before, repeatedly, what he says has been shown to be untrue. But Adam Schiff, to be absolutely clear about this, is a clever man. He knows exactly what he's doing. He is certainly not going to apologise for it. He is not the apologising type. He doesn't impress me as the kind of man who makes apologies at all. Perhaps he should. He should certainly apologise to Donald Trump for some of the things he said about him. But of course,
it's incredible that you have these guys so high up in government. It says a lot about the U.S. government, if you want my opinion, the U.S. Congress. If this guy was in any other job, in any other company, anywhere in the world, he wouldn't last a week.
Well, the reason this is happening, Alex, is because of the way this whole thing has been covered. We've talked about this many times. But when the entire media is sold on promoting the narrative that Adam Schiff has been so busy constructing, realistically, he's not going to come under any pressure. And he's not coming under any pressure now. I mean, I continue to see him quoted and cited in places like the Washington Post and elsewhere. And he will continue to be, because as far as the Democrats are concerned, and as far as the media is concerned, he's doing what they want him to do, which is to create this story of sinister conspiracy and collusion, which damages Donald Trump. Even though it's important to say that it's also damaging the political system of the United States, because the government has been paralyzed. An atmosphere of paranoia has been created. People's lives have been ruined. And frankly, if you want any single individual in this affair who most resembles Senator Joseph R. McCarthy of the early 1950s, who also used his position in Congress to spread paranoia and rumors and sometimes outright lies about people, well, the person who most resembles him is Adam Schiff.
Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Thank you very much. Guys, if you like this video, click on the subscribe button down below and click on that notifications bell to get notifications every time we push out a new video. And don't forget to visit the Duran shop, pick up a t-shirt, help support the Duran. In the description box, you will find links to our PayPal and Patreon pages. Donate to the Duran. It really, really helps us out a lot. And of course, you can get a copy of this show in audio format. Follow us on iTunes and SoundCloud. And you can go to theduran.com and see all the articles that Alexander is linking up to every day. Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Thank you once again. Until next time, everybody, take care.